Thanks for staying with us right here on Sunrise as we continue this Tuesday morning. Now, black tax, the idea that black professionals use the extra money that they have left from their salary or even to take a portion from their salary to provide for their extended family members and to ensure that they live comfortably and have the necessities to survive. Well, this sometimes comes at a cost for young people. They end up having extra financial pressure. Others opt to have more than one job. And sometimes it's merely the feeling of guilt that your family took care of you and now it's your turn to take care of them. Well, joining us in studio this morning to discuss black tax, we're joined by Manyike, who is the head of financial education at Old Mutual. Remember, you can be part of our conversation by giving us a call on 011-447-1742 or 011-447-1620. Your comments are also welcome on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Good morning to you, John, and thanks very much for joining us this morning right here on Sunrise. What is black tax for those who are like, I've never heard of it, or what's wrong with supporting your extended family or your family or extended family?
Black tax is the incident of young professionals being trapped between having to provide for their children, which is like your immediate family, as well as their aging parents and extended family. So, but I have a problem with the word black tax in the first place, because I think the usage of the word tax in the terminology actually invites emotions of resentment, because tax is something that people don't volunteer, instead is being paid grudgingly. So, and when people feel that I'm obliged, and that's why you find young people say, but why should I be paying back? Because I didn't apply to be born. So I think there's a way that we could package this thing in a positive way, because there's some positives that comes out of having to pay one. But for purpose of our discussion today, we'll call it black tax, but at Old Mutual, we call it the sandwich generation, and the sandwich is not bad.
Okay, well, you're stuck between two places. That could also be very bad. It's a conversation that's been going on for a few years. I came across this sandwich generation research maybe 4 or 5 years ago, so to say. But I've seen that now. Initially, it was like people who are between 30s and 40s are caught up in this. But even young people are caught up in it, because in some article says it actually cripples the aspiration of young people. How true is that?
No, it's true. I mean, we do research on an annual basis called Old Mutual Savings and Investment Monitor. And one of the factors that emerges that seems to be one of the contributing factors that causes a financial distress is this phenomenon called black tax. Because you do have young professionals who send money home, but as a result, they're finding themselves in a challenging situation where there's not enough to get around, and sometimes they get over indebted because of having to look after 2 families and so on. But more often than not, you find that the contributions that are made and money that's being sent home is not factored into the holistic financial plan. It's something that we do haphazardly, but no plan in place.
But I mean, some would even say that it's not even about sending money home. You know, in your early days of your career, you don't spend time investing in yourself. You're actually running at a deficit where, you know, you're building walls, you're putting people through schools, you're holding up the family, and that's probably when you're mostly energetic to be able to doing a lot of things. And then you're doing that for the better part 8 to 10 years of your life. And then you find yourself on the other side of your 30s. You don't have any saving cushion that you've built for yourself.
You see, this is what I attribute to a lack of planning. Because there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking your family into confidence and say, listen, I can afford to send you 2,500 Rand a month, but over the next 2 years, I'm going to be sending you 500 Rand instead, but I'm going to save the 2,000 Rand. I'm using that as an example. I'll save this other 2,000 Rand over the next 2 years, which I will use to empower you. Let me give you an example. A lot of young professionals who have moved from the rural areas to urban areas because of a job opportunity have left families at home who have got access to land. So we need to have a different mindset to the land. We need to have a different mindset to black tax. There's a quote that says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So we need to change the way we look at black tax. We need to change the way we look at that land that they have. For example, you could be saying to your parents or extended family, listen, over the next 2 years, I'll save and I'll build enough capital. Maybe we'll build a spaza there, or maybe we'll
But we
we'll
don't come
erect
from a
roots.
culture of saving, John. I know it's a space that you work in.
Yes.
And let's be realistic.
Yes.
We're not a saving people.
No, we're not.
How do we connect that to changing?
You see, this is where we then need to start recognizing the opportunity that exists with having access to an income, to say, how do I change generations in my family? How do I impact them positively? There's a difference between spoon-feeding a family by simply sending money home and empowering them with something that's more sustainable. So hence I'm saying, for example, you can imagine how many back rooms are in the townships where there's rental income. So we need to start thinking, having an entrepreneurial cap on and say, what can I do with the little that I have to actually start creating an avenue so that my family can have a fixed income and alternative source of income as well.
Okay, so let's take a caller. We've got Tamsanga calling from Vosloorus. Hi, Tamsanga.
Morning, how are you?
We're good, on yourself?
I'm okay, thanks. For me, as an African man, I don't believe in black tax. I don't think there's such thing in any Tswana, Venda, or any language that is African. I believe that black people are mentally captured, because even your financial advisor at the studio is from All Mutual, which is a white-owned company. I don't think, to me, that we as a black man, you can help your brother, and your brother, when it's supposed to help you, we call it black tax. We look at other races, say, for example, like the Indians, the Jews. They help each other, even they give it money, thousands and millions to others in order for them to grow. But we black people who always adopt something that is fake. We don't do it original. There's no such thing as a black tax. You look at the townships now, you see that the people are not economically viable because they don't help each other. Even those who are rich and educated, they don't come back and flow back to their communities. They always say, no, it's black tax, black tax. I think there's something wrong with the black race. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that was going to be my next question. Is black tax only exclusive to black people?
No, not necessarily. It might perhaps be more prevalent given our historical background, but it actually cuts across races.
So it's what is it? It is a sense of responsibility that people have.
Yeah, I think there's a sense of perhaps acknowledgement that look, our parents have sacrificed a lot to get us, to where we are. I mean, I remember my mother was a domestic worker, so, and I believe that the wages of a domestic worker can produce very responsible professionals out there. Even the wages of a security guard can produce, lawyers and so on. So it's not so much about what the person has, but how you use that money. And that's why I think it's important that people should assist. We should not see it as something that, that we're obliged and that you actually have to do grudgingly.
All right, let's, okay, we've got some comments and for you this morning. Mabula saying, I don't see anything wrong with black people. I've been paying it for years. It affects their progress, but really, who is going to take care of your family if you're unemployed? In African communities, family comes first. Mabula Nana saying, that's Mabula Nana. Luyana saying, especially to those who earn less than 100,000 per annum, it's affecting them very badly as long as you're a breadwinner. Among some of those comments. Okay, just your final thoughts for someone who find themselves within that sandwiched generation. I mean, there's those who are coming in and those who are, who are finding a balance.
Yeah. So firstly, it's important that one puts together a budget. A budget is simply telling your money where to go. So you need to put together a budget, but also we need to use this newly acquired education to empower families to understand there's this thing called budget, but take your family into confidence and explain to them what is it that you can afford to pay. But more importantly, speak to a financial advisor. So your black tax contribution, if you believe there is black tax, should actually form part of your financial plan. And that's factored in, and there must be a long-term plan around how do you create the future.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, great stuff, John. Thanks very much for chatting to us right here on Sunrise.